Recently, the Rangers find themselves riding an emotional roller coaster, with last night a microcosm of the last 2 months. But relentlessness conquered defeat, snapping a 4-game skid. And if things go right today, the Rangers can find themselves back on top in the AL West. Indeed, lots to play for this afternoon as the fans heading in. Rangers baseball presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. It is the last time this year Rangers and Red Sox from Globe Life Field here in Arlington. And so much on the line these days for the Rangers. As we take a look at what's going on in the American League West, the Astros are at home against Baltimore. It's been quite a challenge for them. They still lead the division, but by just half a game. The Astros, Rangers, and Mariners tied in the loss column, but Houston has played one more game and has that one extra win, and Seattle right there as well, just a half game out. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Dave Redmond with CJ Nitkowski. It is a wild race right now in the American League West, and the Rangers just trying to keep up with everybody, and yesterday they did a great job, in fact, working a game off that lead of Houston with a nice win here at home. And the big news yesterday, probably the headline story for the Rangers, was Game 2 back. Garcia and Young really looked a lot better. Yeah, they certainly did. Of course, you got some of those jitters after not playing a while, especially for Josh Young. And we know how anxious he was to get back into the lineup. But we start with Adolis Garcia yesterday. And what do we miss from him? We missed that great power in big moments. And he goes to the opposite field, hitting that home run into the Ranger bullpen. It continues to be a strong season. And then we saw the legs of Adolis Garcia scoring on this extra base hit off the bat of Jonah Heim. So that was good news, testing that knee a little bit. Josh Young, we know, of course, same thing with him. Both sides of the ball. He's played an excellent third base all season long, back after the 37 games out, showing off the arm and the glove, and then the bat coming up big with the RBI base hit, driving in Marcus Semien. So those two really made a difference for the offense. A 6-4 win yesterday, and while that might have been the headline from the game, I think the part that gave Rangers fans the biggest relief yesterday had to be the work of the bullpen. They were kind of on point last night for the first time in quite a little while, so let's put them in the spotlight with Emily Jones when we come back. Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. And by Baylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better.
The Rangers' final homestand of the regular season rolls on, and Texas looking to continue that positive momentum from Game 2 of this 3-game series versus the Boston Red Sox. Obviously a huge one last night for this Texas Rangers team. Things went back and forth. You had different areas of the team picking up other areas, and really a complete win for this team, which is just what the doctor ordered. And perhaps the biggest piece of that was the play of the bullpen. As we see in our Shiner Box spotlight, Aroldis Chapman, who they had been trying to stay away from, using him in multiple innings, goes an inning and 2/3, comes up clutch for this team. Jose Leclerc closing things out with a 2-run lead in the 9th inning, and the Rangers hold on to a 6-4 victory. And really, like I said, just what this team needed, that confidence, not only team-wide, but especially in that bullpen that has gone through such a rough stretch, CJ.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And for the bullpen collectively, we kind of look at them as a group. And so for them to come up big yesterday, every arm down there was really big, and something we certainly want to see going forward, and they need it the rest of the way now as we take a look at what's remaining here for the Rangers. 11 games now and a chance to get into the postseason. Jon Gray going to be in charge of leading the Rangers here this afternoon. An 8-8 record in his 27 starts so far this year. An ERA just over 5. 19 home runs allowed for Jon Gray in his 149 innings pitched. So far this year, league average right around 42% on his ground ball rate. He's got the slider, four-seam fastball, changeup, and curveball in there for Jon Gray. The slider's still the best pitch with a 194 batting average against. He has had some issues on that fastball lately. Hopefully something he can get corrected here this afternoon. Behind Jon Gray, how about the defense for the Rangers? Brought to you by Rally House. In the outfield, Evan Carter, Leody Taveras, and Adolis Garcia. Josh Young over at third, Corey Seager, Marcus Semien up the middle. Nathaniel Lowe is at first, and once again, Jonah Heim behind the plate doing the catching.
Okay, well done. So the scene's set that way. But meanwhile, for Jon Gray, who will he be facing today? The Red Sox 75-77. They are 20.5 games out in the American League East. They are in last place in the division, looking at back-to-back last place finishes, and they will lead it off today with Rafaela at shortstop, Devers at third, Turner DHing. It's Verdugo, Duvall, and Yoshida in the middle of things today. They represent the 3 outfield spots. Dahlbeck at first, McGuire does the catching, and Luis Urias, the second baseman, will bat ninth. So not much to play for the remaining of this year for Boston, and that was a little bit of a surprise, I think, in New England. But they do have a chance to be spoiler, and they have played that role the last couple of weeks. They were just in Toronto, got swept by the Blue Jays. They've been a little bit of a pest in this series for the Rangers. They still have a series left against Tampa Bay, one against Baltimore, the 2 teams fighting it out for the top spot in their division. Rangers, they've got a whole lot of other stuff on their mind as Jon Gray goes to work, and his first pitch right in there for strike 1.
I mentioned some of the struggles on the slider for Jon Gray. How about a first pitch slider to start the baseball game? You don't see it too often.
And this time a slider lifted down the right side. Long run for Garcia. He almost got to it. He had quite a bit of ground to cover, and then of course you got to be mindful of those railings down there.
Yeah, the cutout here, and so you're not sure, am I going to hit the wall early? Do I have enough room to get past that kind of last little spot right there? And it opens up a little bit more, and Garcia, especially coming off the patella injury that he was dealing with, wants to be careful. But we mentioned it on Monday. He has been tested, that knee, already here a couple of games in after coming off the IL.
0-2 the count to Ceddanne Rafaela, and he will line that foul.
I feel like the bigger story on that play was, are those some new shoes for
Those definitely look new,
Garcia?
right?
They're sticking out a little bit.
Boy, I mean, it was hard not to notice those. Pretty cool. 2-strike pitch. And on the check swing, he went. That is strike 3. Derek Thomas, our first base umpire, rings up Rafaela.
Well, slider here, and this is a really bad chase. That ball hit in front of home plate. That is incredible that he even started to offer at that pitch. Wow.
Yeah, my instinct was, that wouldn't even be a type of thing you would challenge. You would ask for help.
That's been a problem, as you can see there, for the Red Sox. 32% chase rate over their last 14 games, third highest in the American League, and there's been some changes in the lineup and some younger players maybe trying to make an impression and just overdoing it a little bit.
Rafael Devers takes a fastball away. Back-to-back heaters to start his at bat from Gray. So John, 8 wins, 8 losses. The ERA over 4 now for him. And he gets Devers to pop this one up. Short left field. Seager gets out there though, and he'll make the catch. 1 away, or rather 2 away. Here's Justin Turner. Turner DHing today, 23 home runs, 95 driven in.
That's the guy to keep an eye on here this afternoon for Jon Gray. Far and away the most experience against him. He's got good numbers this season. Think about those years that Gray was in Colorado, and Justin Turner all those years in Los Angeles. 47 plate appearances against Jon Gray. He's taken him deep a couple of times, but the last time it happened was 2021. But he's been good against Jon Gray. 15 for 42. It's a .357 batting average.
1-0. And that one crowds him a little bit. 2 balls, no strikes. For John, an opportunity today to bounce back. His last 2 have been a little rough, and there's a good slider. 2-1. Couldn't get through the 3rd inning against Oakland. Couldn't get through the 4th inning on that last road trip in Cleveland. The righty's 2-1 pitch, and that's a beauty. Fastball in there for a strike. 2-2. A Wednesday afternoon crowd here at Globe Life Field. Final game of this series with Boston. And that fastball just missed. Gray was very close.
You really want this call. This is a pitcher's pitch here, maybe an inch or two off, but just really well located. And with Jonah Heim behind the plate, he does such great work presenting those, and you're feeling like you're going to get that call.
They don't miss with ball 4, so Turner draws the walk. And in all of those plate appearances you were talking about, it's only the second time that he's walked Justin Turner. So he's at first, and it'll bring up the left-handed hitting Alex Verdugo. Verdugo with 13 home runs this year. And he'll take inside ball 1. Had a base hit yesterday in the 5th inning. And that snapped an 0 for 19 run for Verdugo. So he's had his troubles here recently. Gray's 1-0. Yeah, that's fouled away.
You mentioned some of those struggles recently for Jon Gray. He comes into this game with 149 innings pitched. As soon as he completes this first inning, it'll put him at 150, the most that he has had since 2018 in any single season. So the innings starting to pile up a little bit on Jon Gray.
Bouncer left side of the infield, and Young gets to it, but he was so deep and so far away there was no play to be had. Verdugo reaches on an infield single.
A little bit of bad luck here for Jon Gray. It's a good fastball. It's 96 miles an hour. It's the 4-seamer. You get the weak contact, but you mentioned it because of the defensive shift. And really smart here for Josh Young not to try to do too much and make a throw. He had no chance at getting Verdugo. It's bad luck here all of a sudden. He had the pretty good looking 2-2 pitch that was called the ball. Yeah. And now an infield base hit against Jon Gray.
So he'll have to get Adam Duvall now. And time called right before the pitch was delivered. And it's because of a timer violation. Gray waited just a smidge too long, and that's ball 1. Not only is it ball 1 and you're penalized for the violation, but you also threw the pitch, right? Which you'd just as soon not throw, given the way they're all counted and monitored these days. So see what he does. 1-0. He gets a foul ball. Slider again.
Let's take a look. We get a good look at this and the clock, as you can see it there. 3, 2, 1. Yep. I wouldn't mind a buzzer over the loudspeaker.
And really loud buzzer too. Right. Kind of like a
shot clock, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, like at a basketball game, right? That would be awesome. 1-1. Ooh, that ball's hit hard. Out to left. And no play for Carter. That one is in the upper deck. A 3-run shot for Adam Duvall. And a little bad luck turns into a small disaster in the first inning. Boston with a 3-0 lead. That was crushed.
That certainly was. 444-3 to 109 off the bat here. 4-seam fastball from Jon Gray, elevated up over the middle of the plate, and Duvall got all of it. Some of the struggles here lately for Jon Gray coming into this one. 5 home runs allowed over his last 4 starts. So make it 6 home runs now.
So after 2 quick outs to start the inning, in a blink of an eye, Gray surrenders 3 runs and delivers a strike to Masataka Yoshida. And Duvall's got a good thing going these days. That's a pretty spectacular ratio you're seeing there at the bottom of your screen. The last 41 hits, 13 of them have landed on the other side of the wall. Stays 0-2.
Think about Jon Gray and all those years that he played in Colorado. He had the one season in which he gave up 27 home runs. But other than that, pretty respectable numbers. Now it's 20 for him allowed here with the Rangers. 3rd most he's ever allowed in any season.
Stays 0-2. Well, when these two teams got together right around July 4th, Gray started one of those games in Boston, and Yoshida went 1 for 3 against him. Yoshida, a rookie, and has had a terrific rookie campaign. He's proven to be a very good big league hitter, 285 average coming in. 1-2 pitch, and he bounces this one up the middle. Seager is there, and that'll do it in the first inning for Boston. But a walk, an infield hit, and then the big blast by Duvall. Red Sox have an early 3-0 lead. This Rangers offense, well, try to answer the call. 83 wins, 68 losses. They're a half game back of Houston. It'll be Marcus Semien at second, Corey Seager at short, Nathaniel Lowe at first base to start things off. Young, Garcia, Jonah Heim in the middle of the order. Mitch Garver DHs, Taveras in center field, and then Evan Carter in left field bats ninth.
And it'll be the youngster Brayan Bello going for the Boston Red Sox. Third time the Rangers have seen him. The start earlier this year went really well. 7-inning start that he had against the Rangers in Boston. Overall 3.71 ERA for the right-hander. 20 home runs allowed. He's got a two-seam fastball, changeup, four-seamer, slider, and cutter in there. His changeup has been his best pitch. Just a 177 batting average against. Now somewhat of an advantage for the left-handed hitters. That part has been a struggle for a guy who's having a really nice year, and right now is the Red Sox best starter.
No doubt about it. Bello has been spectacular in his first pitch, a fastball in there, strike one. Semien with 25 homers and 92 RBIs this year, and he fouls that one down. It looks like off of McGuire. And that hurt.
And he's thinking to himself, I'm a backup guy. I got a day game, giving Connor Wong a little bit of a break. And play through that pretty much no matter what. Unless it's a significant injury. It sounds terrible, but that is just kind of how it works when you're not the regular catcher. But not how he wanted to start his day. There's Connor Wong.
So 0-2 the count. And Bello runs that way inside.
That's that changeup again. How about this number? The changeup that he uses against right-handed hitters. Just an 0.93 batting average for righties on his changeup this year. And that's a pitch he likes a lot.
Whoa. 2-2. That one got loose. This guy has been really good. 12 wins, most on the team. This is 27th start, also most for the Red Sox. 148 innings coming in. That's the highest total. The last time they had a pitcher in his age 24 season lead the team in those categories was 1987, and it was Roger Clemens. 3-2 pitch from Bello. And a chopper toward third, but foul. Roger Clemens, who would go on to have a fine and long career of his own. And Bello on a great track to start his career and putting the finishing touches on a terrific year. 3-2, and Semien fights it off.
That's a good first at bat for Marcus Semien, and try to get that pitch count up here a little bit again for a guy who's been throwing the baseball well. Was able to go 7 innings last time against the Rangers, and maybe most importantly that for Marcus, he's seeing everything. Right, he's seen the fastball, he's seen the slider, he's seen the changeup. A lot of value in that for him in later at bats.
Well, the 3-2, and that's inside. A walk to get things started this afternoon. And that means a base runner in front of Corey Seager. Oh, an 8-pitch walk. Maybe that's a good sign for what's to come in this one today for the Rangers.
Bayo's first offering to Seager, and that's up and out. Another fastball. And Bayo wants a new baseball. It's been pretty rare, I think, that Bayo's had command issues in a game. It's happened where things have gotten away from him now and again, but it's been a while. Back in May, it was one of his worst. There's a swing at a high fly ball left field. I mean, way up there. Yoshida coming in. And there is the first out in the bottom of the first inning. And here comes Nathaniel Lowe. No good numbers for Nathaniel. In particular, he's done just a terrific job getting on base this year. 5th in the league with a .372 on base average. And first pitch swinging, bounces it down to first. They'll go to second. One. Bayo covering at first, completes the double play. 3-6-1, and the inning is over, and we will head to the second with Boston leading 3-0.
Jon Gray looking to keep it that way here in the top of the second, and a lot to be determined as far as the starting rotation is concerned, with 10 games to go after this one in the regular season. Of course, the off day tomorrow, a lot could be determined by what happens here today. Bruce Bochy said they've obviously had conversations not only about how they will handle the rotation in Seattle or against Seattle here at home, but also have taken into consideration how they want to finish out the stretch of the regular season. They'll have those conversations obviously after the game today. They will continue tomorrow, and an announcement should be made for that Seattle series tomorrow.
This one well struck center field, and it is gone. Bobby Dahlbeck leading off the inning with a home run for Boston, and they have a 4-0 lead. And that was not a cheapie either, 428 feet.
And this is on a slider. Pretty impressive from Bobby Dahlbeck right down the middle. That we've seen him in this series go to the opposite field. We talk about him getting an opportunity with Tristan Casas down, and he is doing some really nice work here since getting that chance and some more at bats here in the big leagues. And we also talked about the big season he had in the minor leagues, 33 home runs in AAA. Back on the map for Bobby Dahlbeck.
So now the 8th place hitter, Reese McGuire. 270 average this year for McGuire in his limited at bats, and he's in a hole 0-2.
Going back to what Emily was talking about with the off day tomorrow, and the Rangers have an opportunity if they want to give starters an extra day, is one way that they can go with it, or they keep everybody in line.
Chopper left side of the infield. Young bobbles it, throws to first in time, and they get McGuire. Good thing it was McGuire running. There was just a brief mishandle there for Young, almost cost him.
Yeah, good recovery here by Josh Young, and he's pretty much in the shortstop position by the time he fields this ball, and he does it on the run. Just a little bit of a bumble there on the exchange, but again, good recovery for the Rangers third baseman.
One away, and here is Urias, and he takes a fastball right on the inside corner, strike one.
All right, so now we'll try to finish this rotation conversation. So the off day tomorrow, and if everybody stayed in line, it would be Dunning, Montgomery, Eovaldi over the weekend against the Seattle Mariners. But again, if they want to give somebody an extra day, now's the opportunity to do that.
Urias grounds out to third, 2 away.
As far as Max Scherzer coming out of the rotation and Cody Bradford going in essentially for that last start, it kind of worked out well that that start would have happened looking at potentially the off day, or at least you get that built-in off day. So now if everyone stays in line, then you have next Tuesday in Los Angeles as a spot where it would come up, and then the very last day of the season. That to me is what makes this conversation so interesting, is how the Rangers approach it. They leave everybody with their regular rest. They don't have a starter necessarily for the last game of the year in Seattle, and that could be a huge one.
Yeah, but you got to get there, right?
Yeah.
1-0 to Raviella, and that one is lined over third. That is a fair ball. Kicks out to Carter.
Throw him out.
And Raviella will have to be content with a single. Had he tried to push it for 2, he was in trouble. Wisely slammed on the brakes.
We never know what kind of bounce we're going to get here, right? We talk about it a lot. This is a slider from Jon Gray that doesn't break the way that he wants it to. It stays inner third. It barely stays fair. But again, you just don't know. And that one bounced right to Evan Carter. And he makes a good throw. And I wondered about even throwing that ball to first base. Potentially, probably not worth the chance there. But the Rangers get a break and keeping Rafaela out of scoring position.
So Devers now, and he'll take low, ball 1. Devers popped out in the first inning. 4-0 right out of the chute today. A Duvall 3-run homer in the first. Dahlbeck led off this inning with a solo shot. 2-0 to Devers.
So 21 home runs now allowed as we see Martin Perez taking some warm-up tosses down in that Ranger bullpen. But 21 on the season for Jon Gray, now tied for the second most in any single season in his career. Again, which to me jumps out a little bit just because of all those years he pitched in Colorado.
Where you figure those numbers get artificially inflated, if you will, because of the altitude and all. It has been a bugaboo this year for the Rangers right-hander, a native of Oklahoma.
That's a fascinating shot right there. See where Devers was standing in the box?
Yeah.
We talk about this all the time, right? Everybody's trying to get every inch they can possibly get by going to the very back of the box and kind of fudging that line a little bit, so maybe you can get an extra inch or two. He is probably 6 inches inside the batter's box, if not more. That's fascinating, actually. Now, it could be because he's trying to get to that breaking ball a little bit earlier. Don't give it time to break, or just an area in which he is comfortable.
Chopper second base. Semien will take care of Devers at first, and the inning is over. But the Dahlbeck homer gives the Red Sox a 4-0 advantage. Josh Young, Dolis Garcia, Jonah Heim coming up in the bottom of the second. And Resorts game within the game, and we talk about the rookie seasons of Josh Young and Masataka Yoshida. Yoshida a little bit older, coming from Japan, and has stayed healthier this year. But boy, the power numbers for Young kind of dwarf those of Yoshida, at least on a games played basis. Just too bad that Josh lost that time. 37 games lost to that broken thumb. Because otherwise, he was putting together an amazing rookie year. It's still a really good rookie year. He leads it off here, and Bello starts him off with a breaking ball. That's a good slider. Strike 1. Young was 1 for 5 yesterday, drove in a big run. He's 2 for 9 in the series with this return from the injured list. A broken left thumb. He had to surgically repair a plate was put in the thumb, which is added to the challenge of working his way back. I asked him today, though. I said, all right, well, 2 days in, what do you got for me? How's it played? What do you think? He said, well, it's great. I said, any pain, any discomfort? He's like, actually, no, none.
Wow.
This one lined up the middle, and it goes off the glove of Urias. That ball was scalded, and Young is aboard with what I presume will be a hit.
Yeah, no doubt. And this is a slider and perhaps the hardest hit ball that we have seen off the bat of Josh Young since he has returned from the IL. Not a bad pitch. You can see where it's located, but he stays on it so well and smokes it right back up the middle. Heck of an effort over at second base. And absolutely, let you see an infielder leave his feet, even though he kind of went down to his knees and then leaned a little bit. He's going to get a hit, especially in today's game.
Yeah, they scored it an error.
What? No, they did not.
Yes, they did.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Come on.
No, I'm not joking. I could see it, though. He didn't have to move.
Yeah, but that ball was hit so hard, right? You saw him go down to his knees and then have to kind of lean a little bit. That's shocking in today's game. It's so hard to get an error called. We were talking about a lot when we were in Boston.
Well, that's the place, right?
Fenway in particular.
Which is amazing because that's now the 100th error this year by the Red Sox. You can hardly get an error at Fenway. I mean, you can try your darndest to botch a play, and they still won't give you an error there. And yet they have 100 errors this year, and only the Giants in the National League have more.
I was talking about the Giants and all the errors that they have this year. I was like, I wonder if there's any chance of they near a franchise record, possibly. No chance. In the early 1900s, they had a season in which they had over 300 errors. 300.
There's a swing and a miss. Wow. They're probably playing on a dirt lot somewhere where really you could justify calling everything a hit. No true bounces or anything. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Garcia. And Bello fires out a little low. Well, Adolis now at 35 home runs, 3rd in the league. He has 101 RBIs. That's 2nd most in the league. And a homer yesterday, and he asked for time. He had a great day yesterday at the plate. For all the reasons that are obvious, and then some that are less obvious when you pick up a box score. You had the home run, okay, great. But boy, it was that 10-pitch walk in the 6th inning last night that really caught my eye. Such a big at bat at a big time. Bello with an awkwardly long hold, the 3-2 pitch, and that's pulled foul.
And the walk for Garcia came with 2 outs, if I'm not mistaken, right? And the Rangers went on to score a couple of runs in that inning. He had the big double from Jonah Heim. We talked about that one in our open, and then Leody Taveras, who had a really good game yesterday, had the RBI single. What a difference it was for Garcia compared to those first 2 at bats that we saw coming off the IL, where he was pretty much swinging at anything that was close. And patience showed up in a really important spot last night.
3-2, and that's low, and there's ball 4. So Garcia works another walk. Rangers get the first 2 men on here in the 2nd inning. And how about our Mr. Clean magic stats? Well, should Garcia score this inning, he would be just the 12th player in franchise history with at least 100 runs and 100 RBIs in a single season. The last was Josh Hamilton, better than a decade ago. 7-pitch walk. And he's at first. Young goes to second base. And this offense is going to have to play a big role in this one today. Down 4-0 early. Here's Jonah Heim. Rangers 4 for 12 with runners in scoring position in this series. Heim, 17 home runs, 87 RBIs, and he hits his ball in the air deep out to right. That is a soaring blast into the bleachers. It's gone. For Jonah Heim, and he gets the Rangers right back in this game.
That's incredible for a lot of reasons. Obviously the Rangers needed it, but also for Jonah Heim, he does it against the changeup. The changeup is the best pitch for Bello, but this one is poorly located right down the middle, and Jonah was on time as he drills this thing out to right field, 375 feet away from home plate. Dude sitting there did not even move his food or whatever french fries or hot dog he was eating, and then he's got the ball with his other hand. Unfortunately, he had a Red Sox jersey on, but still pretty impressive.
Now still nobody out, and now Garver takes one in the dirt. 2-0. Oh, get it up on the gram.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. We got each team well represented in this situation. For sure. I mean, give her the ball, dude. What are you waiting on?
Right.
It's a Ranger that hit it. Be a gentleman.
You know what to do. Dave Bush, pitching coach for the Red Sox out there. And they'll have a word with Bello. Bello It's just the second home run that he's allowed now in his last 4 starts, including today. But a big one it was. Jonah Heim makes it a 1-run game here in the second inning. And Heim now with 90 RBIs. (2-0) to Garver, and that's in there for a strike. So Heim doing some things we have not seen done around here in a long time in terms of run production from the catcher spot. And this one hit well out to right field toward the bleachers. It's gone. That one lands in the bullpen. A solo blast for Garver, and he's tied this game at 4. 7th time this year the Rangers have gone back-to-back.
That's a mound visit gone bad there, and Mitch Garver impressive here to the opposite field on a 2-seam fastball. Not a bad one. It's down. It's 95 miles an hour, and Mitch Garver does not get pull happy. And Brayan Bello does a nice job usually of keeping the baseball on the ground, but that's when right-handed hitters try to pull that baseball.
Still nobody out, and Taveras now 8th place hitter. Bello's 1 strike offering, and that's inside. 1-1. An error, a walk, and then back-to-back home runs. I say it all the time when teams make mistakes. Well, you hope you can take advantage of it. Well, the Rangers have here in the second inning.
And this feels familiar from the beginning of the season, right? We know the Rangers have had some struggles here going back to the middle of August, but what we saw from them for the first 4.5 months of the season was this kind of offense. Never felt like you were out of any game.
Oh, this one into right field. A base hit for Taveras. The first 5 have reached in the inning.
Bello all of a sudden having a really difficult time with location. Remember the first pitch that Leody swung at in this plate appearance? It was a slider that was way off the plate. Well, this one gives him a chance as it's down and in and pretty close to being inside the strike zone. And Leody saw that pitch enough in that plate appearance where he got comfortable against it.
So Evan Carter now 9th place hitter. And he'll take down the middle for a strike. Well, for all of the accolades for Brayan Bello, and we mentioned earlier how critical he's been to this rotation this year, leading in wins, starts, and innings for the Red Sox. Hasn't been perfect. And who is? Alex Cora got a lot of questions about Bello today because, you know, who knows how many more starts you're going to ask a young man to make. Bello at just his age 24 season, he's 25 years old now. 1-1. And that is outside. And a lot of the conversation today with Cora came back to command of the fastball, both the 4 and 2-seam fastball for Bello, and kind of a desire for that to be a little better going forward, and that would be what they'd like to see him improve on. As he just misses outside. 3-1. He falls behind another hitter.
He's not getting the chase that he may be used to seeing, especially on the good pitches like the slider and the changeup in particular. The fastball command hasn't been where it needs to be. And how about that number right there? 4-12 against him when he's behind in the count.
Pitch to Carter, and he hits this one out into left field. That's a base hit. Gets down and rolls out to Yoshida. Into third base. Taveras, they'll stop him. It's a double for Evan Carter. And the beat just goes on in the second inning.
Such an advanced approach from Evan Carter here. He's way ahead in the count, 3-1. He gets himself a 2-seam fastball. That is at 97 miles an hour. And again, short to the ball and thinking to the opposite field. We saw the ground out double play that ended the first inning off the bat of Nathaniel Lowe. And that's what Bello tries to do. He tries to get you to pull the ball so it'll stay on the ground. And all of a sudden we've seen a couple of Rangers now go to the opposite field. And it becomes all that more impressive when a 21-year-old kid is doing it.
Now the corners will come in. Semien at the plate. Devers at third base backs up, and there's a swing, and that one's up the middle, base hit. Here comes Taveras. They'll wave Carter. He heads to the plate. He'll score. 2-run single for Marcus Semien, and the Rangers have their first lead. It's 6-4.
What we talked about in that first at-bat for Marcus Semien, he got to look at everything that Brayan Bello had to throw after a long at-bat, ultimately ended up in a walk. Again, poorly located fastball right down the middle. Marcus had seen it enough times, and look how short he is to that baseball. The short leg kick. He's got an opportunity with a couple of men in runners, excuse me, a couple of runners in scoring position, and he drives them both in. And this has been really impressive here from the Rangers offensively, and something that they have been waiting for. As we take a look at the pitches by inning here for Brayan Bello, up to 26 right now with the 7 hitters that he has faced so far in this inning, and still nobody out and nobody warming.
Well, it's like we got in the time machine and went back to the month of May with this offense. A 6-run rally in the second by an offense that has scored the most runs in the American League this year. 832 runs up to the moment. Corey Seager now with a man at first. Still nobody out. And he swings and misses. That's strike 1. Seager flew out to left field in the first inning. Got a hit last night. Broke a tough stretch that he'd been on. And he'll take a little bit high here. 1-1. In fact, with that hit last night, Seager has 1 hit in his last 17 at bats. Still the most dangerous man with a bat in his hand in this lineup, maybe in the league. And that is high. 2-1.
So here we are, bottom of the second inning, 6-4. Wasn't that the final yesterday?
Yeah.
Kind of amazing to see.
Had 4 lead changes yesterday. Wild one. We've only had the 1 lead change here.
Let's keep it that way.
Indeed. 2-1. Bello misses again. So the command in a lot of ways elusive for Bello, who's 30 pitches into the inning now.
Look at that number.
Yeah, Seager dominates when he's ahead in the count. We know Bello's numbers when he's behind in the count.
Come on, almost 500. That's crazy.
Well, he rips this down to first. Dahlback gets the out at first, throws to second for the double play. Well, I would have. It's pretty long odds that you could see that, given the situation for both Seager and Bello. But there you go, the double play.
Yeah, nice play at first base by Bobby Dahlback. Looks like the changeup from Bello, and Corey Seager just catches the top half. It hit it hard, but that is a great play, going to his left and stepping on the bag, and a strong throw to get Marcus Semien.
So suddenly 2 gone, bases empty for Nathaniel Lowe. He's the 9th hitter of the inning. And Bello's first offering, there's a swing and a miss. Get some pretty good movement on that slider at times. And the fastball misses way up. A long, laborious inning for Bello. This will be his 34th pitch of the inning. And he misses in. So you're getting to that critical stage for a guy where most managers are pretty alert to not pushing a guy past 35, 40 pitches in an inning. 2-2. So it makes me wonder if Young, or rather if Lowe gets on, if that might be it for Bello.
But they don't have anybody warming up, do they? In the bullpen? No.
Well, they had bodies moving out there a moment ago, but This will be the 36th pitch of the inning. How far do you want to push a guy?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? He's 24 years old, far and away the most innings he's ever had in a season. He made 11 starts last year in the big leagues, a couple of games out of the bullpen, but a combined looks like about 150 or so innings last year. He's up to 154 coming into this one. And a guy that, again, you see him right now, best starter they have. I think they probably envision him as a 2 or a 3 if they're a contender. And put their team together, get a good version of Chris Sale add to their rotation, but a guy right in the mix near the top of the rotation. And so for Alex Cora, maybe pushing him a little bit, some of that trial by fire, and what it feels like to pitch in September when you're tired.
This one on the ground, third base, and Devers will take care of Lowe. They won't have to contemplate what to do. Lowe rolls out, the inning is done. But what an inning it was for the Rangers. Jonah Heim got the scoring started with a 3-run shot. Mitch Garver, at the very next at bat, he goes yard. And the Rangers in front 6-4. New lease now for John Gray. Works with a 2-run lead, third inning. Justin Turner will lead it off for Boston, and he'll take strike one.
Short leash right now for John Gray. We saw Martin Perez warming up last inning. He is still up in that Ranger bullpen, which tells me that with the lefty on deck, anybody gets on. If Turner gets on, we may see Martin in this game.
And Turner lifts this out into left field. Easy play for Garcia. One away in the third inning. Here comes Verdugo.
Here comes Bruce Bochy. That's it for John Gray.
Okay, so he got Turner, but with the left-hander coming up, Bruce Bochy will give it to his left-hander, Martin Perez, in the third. Afternoon, 6-4 Rangers in the third. Saturday, that'll be the middle game of the series with Seattle in the final home series of the season. The first 15,000 fans to the gates. Going to get this Adolis Garcia bobblehead presented by TXU. Tickets available at Rangers.com. There aren't many seats left, so jump on it right now. Adolis Garcia, now the 12th player in franchise history with a 100 season, runs and RBIs. Josh Hamilton did it in 2012. And Garcia, of course, still 10 more games after today to add to his totals. Perez is on. Alex Verdugo, the hitter, and the first pitch in there, strike one.
Martin has been good coming out of the bullpen for the Rangers. This will be the 13th time in that relief role. 3.09 ERA as a reliever. You're seeing his overall numbers there in his 32 games. The big one for him, for me, when you look at what he's done as a reliever in his 23 1/3 innings, 62% ground ball rate. That is elite level. And we've seen Martin over the course of his career put together a pretty good ground ball rate. It had been down this year as a starter, but as a reliever, he's found his groove back, and he's done excellent work for the Rangers out of the bullpen.
Well, he gets a ground ball right here. High chopper to Semien. He'll hustle it over to first in time. Verdugo turned back, 2 away. How about a word now from Academy Sports and Outdoors? Adam Duvall now. He hit the 3-run homer in the first inning for Boston. And this one's right over the top of that curveball. We had a very balanced lineup today. Red Sox went right, left, all the way through the lineup. Perez will have to deal with his fair share of right-handed hitters in this outing, and you would expect this to be an outing where they will push Martin as far as they can. Two-strike offering, and Duvall swings and misses. Strike three, got him on the changeup. And so Perez with a strikeout helps complete a 1-2-3 third inning. And the Rangers maintain that 6-4 lead. TXU power stats today. Boy, day games, this Rangers team, they just have loved it here at home. 7.5 runs per game in this ballpark during day games, hitting better than 300 as a team. And boy, they're off to a good start again today. 6 runs last inning. Young started last inning when he reached on the error. The ball he lined up the middle, and Urias knocked down but couldn't hold on to. And the Rangers were off and running at that point. 1-1. Bello, who threw some 38 pitches last inning. My goodness. Back out there again here in the third, and he gets ahead 1-2.
I think this really again is Alex Cora pushing their young starter, kind of seeing what he's made of here a little bit, wants to see him bounce back, but it is asking a lot. You get this late in the year, you're at a career high for innings, you have that really long inning you mentioned at 38. It's uncomfortable, and 38 with nobody warming up.
Yeah.
Another guy gets on, you're looking into the 40s.
I'm not going to lie to you, I'm a little surprised by a couple of things we've seen today with pitching, and that to me was the most shocking, was that they were not apparently prepared or had no intent of relieving him should Lowe have gotten on, as Young strikes out here to begin the third. I mean, clearly you're talking about a guy in Cora who feels like his guys need to be pushed, and he's frustrated. I don't know what the nature of the conversation is there, but obviously not happy. Here's Garcia. He walked last time up. And I will say again for Garcia, I mentioned the walk last night on 10 pitches in the 6th inning. And allowed the Rangers to score a couple runs in the inning and retake the lead in the game. Well, he had a 7-pitch walk last inning that really aided after the error and helped fuel the 6-run rally. Maybe that's the key to the whole thing, is Garcia good at bats and drawing occasional walks. 2-1. That'll square things up.
So the most pitches that we have seen in an inning this year, Johnny Cueto threw 50. About a week and change ago.
It's fouled away. Boy, that's a recklessly high number.
It's a big number.
.38 is definitely pushing the envelope a little bit.
I'm not going to say his name right. Cameron Vio, last year, 56 pitches in an inning.
All right, so I know you and I have done this exercise before, but
yeah.
you had.
I got in the 50s once.
Yeah, you had a ridiculous.
I had a stupid game where I threw like 130 something pitches in like 3 and change. I think 3 2/3. I think it was. The inning that I threw, whatever the 50 was, I went back out after. Just had to eat it. Second start of the year.
I'm sure you'll understand when I say this. I'm really glad I didn't call that game.
I believe so. That was, yeah, Ernie Harwell was probably on the call for that one. Helped him out a little bit. I'm sure he'd love that.
2-2, a swing and a miss. Garcia strikes out, and so Bello bounces back with a couple of strikeouts here in the third.
All right, time now for some StatCast powered by Google Cloud, and taking a look at the Rangers and the back-to-back home runs that we saw here so far this afternoon. Jonah Heim and Mitch Garver. Exit velocities of 101 and 107. One to the opposite field and one to the pull side.
First pitch this time crowds Heim a little bit. So 18 home runs and 90 RBIs now for Jonah. He's missed decent time with injury. Gives you an idea of how critical he has been to this Rangers offense this year. 3-0. Well, you talk about RBIs though by a Rangers catcher in a single season. He's one shy of catching Pudge for the second most. Now the record of 113, that's going to be a tough challenge for Jonah. But he could definitely add one more anyway. Draws the walk here.
I like his chances. What will be interesting is to see with Jonah Heim the off day tomorrow for the Rangers, and then those final 10 games, and they're obviously very important. Some of those coming against the Seattle Mariners. It's what they do when they pick a day off for him, or maybe 2 on the high end.
No, I'm saying 1.
I think 1, yeah.
He'll get 1 day off somewhere.
Find the pitching matchup.
Yeah, maybe a pitching matchup. Here's the thing: you have that series against Anaheim, all night games, and the one that concerns me, the turnaround that concerns me a little bit, is going from Anaheim to Seattle. Garver plunked. So with 2 outs, a walk, and then a hit batter. And Bello has to deal with a little traffic now in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, it looked like we were seeing a bounce back inning, 2 strikeouts, and now it's 6 straight pitches outside of the strike zone. And this is a fastball that catches Mitch Garver 95 miles an hour. Certainly doesn't feel good as it gets him right in the tricep and just above that protective elbow pad.
A 3rd time this year he's been hit. So it's a night game in Anaheim on Wednesday, and then the travel to Seattle, and that's not an easy trip.
Yeah.
It's a long flight from Anaheim to Seattle, and so that'll be a late night, early morning. I wonder if maybe that first game in Seattle is the day to.
What time is that game?
It's a night game.
It is a night game. Yeah, I thought I saw in the itinerary 1:30 or 2 o'clock kind of estimated arrival time.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm with you. That could be it. But again, the pitching matchup to me also has to come into play to some degree. If there's one arm that you feel like, this is the day, or even if it's a DH day. The other part, right? He may not be complete. He may play in all the games.
Sure. Yeah.
He may not catch all of them.
Great spot here for Taveras. He taps it foul. Leote had a base hit in the 2nd inning.
I do wonder if, with Jonah missing time as much as it wasn't ideal, is that going to pay off now at this time?
Yeah,
right?
I think it will.
Not playing 150 games.
I mean, I do think that's the silver lining to that, and same for Josh Young. I think there's a little silver lining there. Those guys maybe just have a little more in their legs this time of year. Bello's 0-2 and a foul ball. Fastball in the inner 3rd. Well, that was weird. Something happened with the clock, and they just restarted it. Taveras was right in the box, wasn't looking anywhere, and there was 3 seconds on the clock. I thought, well, how did that happen? The 0-2, that's high. Ball 1. I thought, boy, he's in violation. Well, whatever. But then I noticed home plate umpire Jeff Nelson was just like, well, do over, just restart the clock. Bello loves that long hold in the 1-2 pitch, a foul ball again.
So I got curious about it with Jonah Heim, thinking about how much he caught last year. Just over 900 innings for him, 900 2/3 innings. He's at 906 and 2/3 coming into this one. So 6 more innings. But we saw him, I think, get caught up with him last year.
Oh, yeah.
And we saw that fatigue. And so to get that break in there, the unexpected break because of the injury and a little bit of reset, even though the numbers are about the same and he'll catch more this year than he did last year, you're kind of getting there a different way.
Here comes a cookie for Taveras, and he'll shoot it out into left field. That's a base hit. Around 3rd base, Jonah Heim. He'll come to the plate. He scores. Base hit from Taveras. Adds another Rangers run, and it's 7-4.
It's a really nice piece of hitting because this was a tough pitch. It was down, and once again, we see a Ranger hitter go to the opposite field. A short swing there from Leote Taveras, and some good base running here from Jonah Heim. There may be some frustration for Alex Cora as we see a visit now from the pitching coach. I wondered if he was going to go out there, and I say that because Brayan Bello did not back up home. And had that ball gotten away, everybody would have advanced. And it's one thing when things aren't going well, and obviously they're not, right? You get 2 quick outs, and all of a sudden now you hit a couple of guys and a base hit, another run across. But when you don't do the little things, like backing up home plate, that's going to really tick a manager off just a little bit more. Take a look at Brayan Bello and where he was, and your job as a pitcher in this situation. You got a runner in scoring position, boom, you should be gone. He's standing there and watching. He should be behind home plate right now. He doesn't get there. That ball gets away, and he's going to have a manager all over him.
Well, it's a career high runs allowed for Bello at 7 now. And the reason I say, yeah, and that right there tells you everything you need to know. This is almost punitive.
Wow.
And the reason I said that he was going to give a cookie to Taveras, that was his 25th pitch of the inning, after throwing 38 pitches in the second. And I just had a feeling like this guy, he's got to be just about out of juice. And you figure he can't be that sharp. Taveras with a base hit. Now Carter bounces one by the mound. Coming in, Devers throws, not in time. Everybody's safe, and the bases are loaded. Well, the Rangers pouncing right now.
Well, he caught it off the end of the bat. Obviously some weak contact here, but you get great speed from Evan Carter, who hustles it down the line and beats that one out to keep this inning alive and keep the pressure on the Boston Red Sox. Getting a good look at all that Evan Carter can do here so far in his brief stint in the big leagues.
On the spot now for Marcus. Bases loaded with 2 out. And Bayo's first offering off the plate. 6 runs last inning. After back-to-back strikeouts in this inning, it's gone walk, hit, batter, back-to-back singles.
Wow. Still nobody warming up.
I'm telling you, this is it's really amazing. And I do think this is borderline punitive. I mean, a statement being made here in the loudest way for Bayo. This will be his 30th pitch, and he misses in 3-0.
There goes the phone. I think I heard it.
I don't know what he could have left. All right, call was made. Bernardino will get loose. The 3-0, and that's down the middle. Semien wisely taking all the way there, really. Well, this kid huffing and puffing out there. Garver, Taveras, and Carter around the bases, third to first.
Feels like he's going to pound this baseball.
Well, ball 4. He's just walked in a run. Semien will pick up his 3rd RBI of the game. It's 8-4. And it's not like Bernardino's had enough time to get ready yet.
And remember yesterday how quickly they got him up and didn't give him very much time, and he did a nice job when he got in there, but it happened quickly, and to do that to a guy in back-to-back games, probably not fair.
Seager chops one down to first. It'll be handled by Dahlbeck, and that ends the inning. But the Rangers score 2 more, and we head to the 4th. It's 8-4.
We take a look at the Rangers leading it by 4, but how about this? The end of the inning, or in between innings, Alex Cora and Brayan Bello. Let's say it's heated words. It was kind of no words. And guys that obviously not happy, and you get it for Bello. You had a rough outing. He was out there. It looked like nobody was coming to save him. Now, whether he's frustrated at his manager or just frustrated with himself or a little bit of both, that was what's the best way to describe that? An icy cold, heated exchange? Does that work?
I think so. Icy cold, heated, yeah. It's like an icy hot. Whew. Tingles. Well, Perez, meanwhile, he goes for the jugular here on Yoshida. It gets a strikeout looking one away.
Let's go ahead and get to our AT&T Fiber Fast Pitch. We're going to charge the double since we said it twice. How about Martin over his last 14 innings with a 1.29 ERA? He really has been great out of the bullpen for the Rangers. And remember when he got taken out of the rotation, we made a big deal about it because it felt like it was deserved in the sense that Martin says, I'll do whatever they want me to do. A veteran guy, whatever is best for the team is best for me, and he handled it like a champ. And not only did he take it really well, but he has delivered in a role that the Rangers have very much needed. Good for Martin.
That one is down low. 2 balls, no strikes on Dahlbeck. Dahlbeck homered in the 2nd inning. John Gray's night, or afternoon rather, was a short one today. John ended up going 2 1/3 innings, allowed 4 runs on 4 hits with a walk and a strikeout. Turned it over to Martin. And there's a strike, 3-1. Gray in those 2 1/3 innings today threw a total of 39 pitches. Which I bring up because Bello threw 38 in that second inning alone. There's a swing and a miss. Full count on Dalbec. And then came back to throw what, 33 more? I think there's something like that in the next inning. And oh man. 8-4, Rangers lead. 3-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. A strikeout of Dalbec. That's 3 straight Ks for Perez. All right, let's check in with Emily.
Well, I asked Bruce Bochy last night after the game something we had talked about pitching, Aroldis Chapman inning in 2/3 when really they were trying to only pitch him an inning, and putting Andrew Heaney in a high leverage situation, and now having Martin Perez out here. He said, look, we have no defined roles at this point. It is all hands on deck. If I think you can give me something, I'm going to ask you to give it to me. And I think he's let everybody know in that bullpen, and it goes for the offense too. Look, we're doing anything and everything we can to win. I'm going to push these guys, and he has every confidence that they're going to give him everything that he has, that they have.
Yeah, they understand what's at stake right now. Obviously holding on to first place as long as the Rangers did, falling out, and then kind of being in this wild card fight, still in the AL West fight. And a lot of these guys have been here before. Some of them are new to it, but they lean on the older guys, and you start to quickly understand with 11 games remaining, including this one here this afternoon, you do whatever is asked from you. You certainly don't complain about anything, and just be ready to go whenever your number is called.
0-2 from Perez, and that's just off the plate. Ball and 2 strikes. So Martin had 2 outs last inning. A couple of strikeouts here in the 4th. And here comes a pitch that is just a little wide. Fastball there at 94. Boston jumped out 4-0. The Rangers have scored 8 unanswered since then. Both teams into the bullpens. I mean, it just has that feel of a crazy afternoon. Red Sox will head home afterward. Rangers enjoy an off day tomorrow, their final day off this year. The 2-2 pitch, and that's fouled away. And this is the most critical stretch of the season now. And the Rangers, as you likely know, they came in to play a half game back of Houston in the division race. And Houston at home against Baltimore. They're trailing Baltimore. It's only the 4th inning, but they're down 1-0. And this one bounced down to first. Good play by Lowe. He'll go to the bag, and the inning is done. A 1-2-3.
Great work by Martin Perez. The command is on point here.
Under that Chevy hood. And this afternoon we find Mr. Will Smith. Favorite food, chicken wings. Celebrity he'd like to have lunch with, Randy Johnson. Superpower he'd like to have the ever popular teleportation, fellas.
Well, there's a run on teleportation right now.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, as much as these guys travel, spend time in planes, trains, automobiles, buses, yeah, teleportation is a big player. Also, I probably should mix my questions up next season. so I can get away. Once I figure out I've got a really popular answer, we'll figure something out fun for next year.
Chicken wings with Randy Johnson sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, that would work. Boneless or bone-in?
Depends on where you go. There's some good places that have boneless. One of my favorite spots in Arlington, I was disappointed to find out that they closed down. They had some really good boneless wings.
But aren't boneless wings, aren't they basically just tendies? Is that what we're talking about at this point?
You feel a little better about yourself, but yes.
Well, 4th inning. Rangers have an 8-4 lead, and at long last, Boston goes into the bullpen. Nick Robertson
on for the 17th time. You can see he had spent some time with the Dodgers, now here with the Red Sox. 8th game in a Red Sox uniform. He's got a 4-seam fastball that sits at 95, changeup and a slider.
First pitch to Nathaniel Lowe is in there for strike 1. So the Rangers sent 9 batters to the plate in the 2nd inning. They sent 8 batters to the plate in the third. And they have taken a 4-run lead in this one. Lowe, Young, Garcia now in the 4th inning. Nathaniel 0 for 2. And he hits this one sharply on the ground by first. That's a base hit into right field.
Nice job here by Nathaniel Lowe. He gets that pitch. It's right in the middle play. Cut back. It looked like a little bit. There's a changeup. We want that ball to run away from the lefty, but sits over the middle of the plate, and Nathaniel hits that ball at 107 miles an hour. That had to feel good for the Ranger first baseman.
So he's aboard, and Josh Young the batter, and they'll take off the plate, ball 1. Josh, by the way, a scoring change. Originally had reached on an error in the second. That's now a single. And he hits his ball sharply past short. That's a hit into left field. Back-to-back singles for the Rangers to begin the 4th inning.
This one hit pretty hard as well. This is the fastball at 96 from Robertson. He's keeping the baseball on the ground, but the Rangers hitting it hard through the infield. Figured that one would have gotten changed. I really wanted to have the confidence to put it down as a base hit. Yeah. I didn't. But we knew.
10th hit of the game now for the Rangers. 26th time. This one lined into left field. That's a base hit. Heads to the alley. That's going to roll for a while. Lowe is in. Young to third. They'll stop him. It's a double for Garcia. The Rangers on top, 9-4.
Slider here for Robertson, and this is a new pitch for him, something he started developing with the Dodgers, and been a pretty good pitch for him here with the Red Sox, but Garcia ready for that one. And I think for Tony Beasley, playing it a little bit conservative with Josh Young in that spot. Not a bad idea with nobody out.
Yeah, well, with nobody out and the way they've been swinging it today, and now Jonah Heim, who's got a hot bat going. Infield in, and Jonah tied up on strike 1. Second and third, nobody out. And the Rangers, just a remarkable 5 for 6 today with runners in scoring position. 0-2. There is a lot going on in this first half of the ball game today. 9 runs, 11 hits. Outfield really deep. 0-2. And Heim strikes out swinging. 1 away. All right, this is a pretty good time to take a look at our Febreze Fresh stats. The Rangers' average exit velocity this year is just about 90 miles per hour, 89.5 miles per hour. Second hardest average exit velocity in baseball. And they have over 1,000 balls batted over 100 miles per hour. Well, that is outside for a ball on Mitch Garver. Those are all good numbers for an offense that has been elite all year. That's low. 2 balls, no strikes to Garver, who is homered and been hit by a pitch. DHing and batting 7th.
Feeling like one of those afternoons where Bruce Bochy is really pushing the right buttons. He made the decision on John Gray to bring Martin Perez in pretty quickly. And I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit surprised to see Robbie Grossman was not starting today in place of Mitch Garver. And that was just because the left-handed numbers against Brian Bayo were so much stronger in the favor of hitters compared to the righties. Well, he gives Mitch Garver the start and he hits a home run. And so just really good feels here and good decisions made by Bruce Bochy that has led to this big lead here early on.
Yeah. Garver's been on all 3 times. I really couldn't believe how upset you were earlier about that. Talking about how much better you'd be at managing a ball club and yada, yada, yada.
Well, I had my Robbie Grossman jersey on today. It was part of it.
It was an interesting point, though. But Boch knew something. Bases loaded now for Leody Taveras. One run already across. And Robertson in his first inning in relief here gets a strike in there. It's 1-1. So Young at third base with 1 out. Garcia at second after the double, and Garver just walked to load him up. Foul back. 1-2. Leo's 2 for 2 today. Boy, the turnaround for Taveras from August to September, that has been pretty stark. He's had a great month. It's now a 9 of his last 10 games. Man, that's tight.
Collectively, we saw a lot of things kind of go wrong for the Rangers starting in the middle of August, and one of those was, we showed the struggles for Leody Taveras, and he has bounced back really well and getting that production, getting on base, getting Marcus Semien those opportunities to drive him in.
Hits a ball hard out to center field. Duvall on the run. He'll have room to make the catch. Young tags. He'll score. Everybody else moves up. A sacrifice fly for Leody Taveras, and the Rangers in double digits in the 4th inning. It's 10-4.
I felt like it was going to be so much more for Leody. He smokes this ball. It's 104 off the bat. 96 mile an hour fastball at the upper third of the strike zone. How about this? He hits it 403 feet, long way, and everybody advancing because of how deep this was. And I think Leody thought maybe he had gotten it, but he just missed it.
Evan Carter now with 2 outs, and he'll take outside for ball 1. A base hit here, though, would plate a couple of runs. Garcia at third, Garver at second. And this is a slow bouncer, second base. Urias hustles it over to first in time. They get Carter, and the inning is done. 2 more runs across. Rangers in double digits. It's 10-4. And welcome to the 5th inning this afternoon, presented by Audi. We are inside the final 2 weeks of the season. The Rangers a half game back of Houston for the division lead. And how about a 10-4 lead this afternoon over the Red Sox? Urias, a 9th place hitter for the Red Sox, will lead off. Martin Perez throwing the ball well and gets that first curveball in for strike 1.
You mentioned the Rangers trying to get as much length as they possibly can out of Martin coming out of the bullpen. He had a 4-inning outing, his 3rd time he came out, and threw 70 pitches in that one. That was all the way back on August 19th for Martin in a game the Rangers lost 6-1 to the Milwaukee Brewers. I don't know if they'll go that far with him. It's been a while since they kind of pushed him on that kind of pitch count, but I think they're going to take everything they can possibly get. Just 25 pitches so far here for Martin. He's gone 5 up and 5 down.
Well, make that 6 for 6. Another strikeout, his 4th already.
When we saw Martin last year have a career year, this is what we saw with consistency. Both sides of the plate, hitting spots. This is the changeup here. We've seen that 2-seam fastball be really well located here this afternoon. It feels very vintage Martin Perez so far coming out of the pen.
It works to Rafaela now, and there's another curveball in for a strike. Rafaela 1 for 2 with a strikeout and a single. And a bouncer third base. Young charging, backhands, throws in time, and they get Rafaela, and that's a really nice defensive play by Josh Young.
Well, not just a backhand, but a backhand on the run, and this is not easy. And Josh Young continues to play some really good defense since his return. You get a little funky spin on this one as well. You see him charge it on the short hop, throw it on the run, and make sure that throws on the money.
Rafaela with pretty decent speed too, so had to hustle it over there. They get him, 2 away. And now here's Devers, and he'll take strike 1. So Perez has faced 7, retired 7. And a fastball is in. 1-1 on Rafael Devers. He's popped out and grounded out today. That's a little bit wide. 2-1. Yeah, there's a little bit of a shade to the infield defensive alignment. I do think Devers will pull it on the ground. 2-2. Here's a guy who's had some success against Martin. 3 for 6 against him. Martin comes at him 2-2. And a fly ball left side, but that one ends up in the stands. Devers just named the American League Player of the Week last week. He's had a good thing going offensively. Yesterday was quieted, just the walk in yesterday's game, an 0 for 3 night. And Perez gets him to foul that one off. So it stays 2-2. Martin's done a really good job of being mostly efficient here, especially considering that he has 4 strikeouts among the 7 outs he's recorded. And there's a chopper up the middle. Young cuts across and throws out Devers. And it's a 1-2-3 5th inning for Martin. So he is pitching this one in a rocking chair. Rangers leading 10-4. This afternoon, offense has been rolling again. And this is the final game of this series. Looking forward to Seattle over the weekend. What a huge series. And in Friday's game, the opener, the first 15,000 fans 18 and older will get these City Connect themed baseball cards presented by Texas Lottery. Get your tickets now at Rangers.com. Limited seats available for all 3 games this weekend. There's some big crowds, some huge games, and off we go now in the bottom of the 5th. Top of the order for the Rangers: Semien, Seager, and Lowe.
How about this day that Marcus is having already? He's been on all 3 times. 3 RBIs, including that bases loaded walk in his last at bat. It's a pretty good day for a leadoff hitter. It's only the 5th inning.
And now it's 95 RBIs out of that leadoff spot. A bouncer to third, and that's just kicked by Devers. And the defensive woes continue for him and for Boston. Semien is on via the error.
This should have been pretty routine for Rafael Devers as you see him come up, try to get it on the short hop, but in and out of the glove. And we've talked a lot about this defense and the issues for the Boston Red Sox, but Rafael Devers in particular has really struggled. He came into the series with 17 errors. Make it 18 now for Devers, which I believe is 4th most in baseball. Tied for 3rd most.
Semien running. Seager shoots it out to left. That's a base hit. It'll be extra bases. Semien went into a slide, had time to hop up, time to come to the plate. He'll score on the double by Seager, and it's 11-4.
What was amazing about that in particular was the fact that Marcus Semien had that base stolen easily. He had a huge jump and maybe a little bit surprised to see this ball in play, and he did not know where it was, and so had to find it, looked up, and found Tony Beasley to let him know. I mean, that is a huge jump. They had no chance to get him, and so he's sliding in, and that's a great reaction from Marcus to get up, find the baseball, and score on that. He almost had to slide twice on one play. Which I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
Nathaniel Lowe now who is 1 for 3. Chance to drive in Seager. And Seager's the only Ranger yet to score. And that's outside and low. 2-0. 26th time this year the Rangers have hit double digits in runs scored in a game. And just add to their franchise record. Won't be the last time this year either. This one, Pop Bow back behind the plate. 2-1. After Lowe, we'll see Josh Young and Adolis Garcia, both of whom came back off the injured list for this series. And they might have been a little slow getting back in Monday's game. But both had good games yesterday. Both a big part of this offensive production again today. Kennedy Landry, who covers the team for Rangers.com, made the observation today. The Rangers, they had 5 all-star position players and Nathan Eovaldi on the pitching side. 2-2. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 3. But the 5 all-stars who are in the lineup to start that game, the all-star game, the last time they had been in the same lineup for the Rangers, all 5 of them, was July 21st against the Dodgers. Wow. Until we got to this series. So that also, I think, goes a little ways to explaining what happened between, let's say, July 21st and this series for this offense. It
nearly 2
sputtered
months.
A little.
That's nearly 2 full months, right? The first game of the series was the 18th. That's pretty incredible. It's a great note.
And strike pitch, and that's hit hard out to center, carrying well. Duvall is back. It's gone. And Josh Young with his first homer since coming back off the IL. It's 13-4.
Well, that one was special because obviously for Josh Young getting back into the lineup and healthy, but how about taking 95 on the inner third, staying inside the baseball and hitting it out to right center into the Ranger bullpen 408 feet away. That's a strongman home run from Josh Young.
Garcia takes off the plate, and that is ball 1. He almost went after. So with that home run, Seager able to come around and score. So every Ranger has scored. Young scored 3 times. And this is in the air, short right field. Verdugo gets to it, and that is the second out of the inning. All right, we check in with Emily.
Well, and you guys were talking about the return of Josh Young and Adolis Garcia, and obviously it's going to take them a while to round into form, although it doesn't look like it's taking very long. But Boch said just their presence is such a factor in stretching out the lineup. It changes the way that pitchers approach the guys before them and after them. It's just, they're such a huge part of this thing, right in the heart of the order. And if they can get going and this thing can get stretched out the way that it was in the first half of the season, you see how dangerous this offense can be.
It's just like every time Dave shows up to a party, his presence is his present.
Really?
Yeah, he comes empty-handed.
Empty-handed.
Got to know where to party, Em. 2-0 to Jonah Heim. This feels like a party. This feels like a 2 months worth of partying for this Rangers offense.
Hopefully almost kind of a coming out party, not to expect this many runs the rest of the way, but just the fact that this team is back, the group is back, that put them in this position to begin with, especially offensively, and that you can kind of start to raise your expectations again of what you're going to get night in and night out offensively.
There's another well struck ball out to left center, and that one tracked down by Yoshida. And to cover some ground to get to it, the inning is done. What an afternoon it has been for these Texas Rangers. They're back at full strength, and they're scoring runs like they did earlier this year, up 13-4. Boy, some big numbers up there today. 13-4 Rangers lead as we go to the 6th inning. 3, 4, and 5 hitters for Boston. Turner, Verdugo, and Duvall. Martin Perez has looked really good in relief, and his first pitch, a good fastball in there for a strike to Justin Turner. Boston scored the first 4 runs of the game. The Rangers have plated 13 unanswered runs. Set up in here, the 1-1 pitch, and that is on the corner. Beautifully placed by Perez. 1-2. Martinez retired 8 straight since coming on, and that's fouled to the right side. So he's done a really nice job here in relief. The score takes some pressure off the bullpen this afternoon, at least at the moment. 1-2 pitch, and a little number foul.
We mentioned with Martin how great the ground ball rate has been since he's gone into the Ranger bullpen. And 4 strikeouts here this afternoon, and 4 groundouts. So 100% ground ball rate so far in this outing for Martin.
Here's his 1-2 pitch, and that's a little bit up.
Always a good indicator, I think, when Martin is on. Again, hitting his spots with all those pitches, both sides of the plate, and keeping the baseball out of the air.
Let me ask you a question. You could figure this out quickly. I know you. His ground ball rate as a reliever, I'm guessing, is better than it was as a starter.
Oh, by far. By probably almost 20%. So he came into this one with a 62% ground ball rate. As a starter, I remember seeing it when he was in the rotation, was in the 40s, but I'll give you the exact number, Dave. We don't guess around here. 41%. So yes, 20% better. That is a huge number. Now that 41% down a little bit for him, obviously.
Yeah.
And the 61, 62 a little higher than we've seen. But yes.
Well, but that was my feeling though for most of the year when he was in the rotation. Was start after start, I kept wondering, well, where are all the ground balls? Now he would still get the double plays. It seemed like he had the ability to dial up the ground ball when he needed it most, but it wasn't like I'd come accustomed to seeing, right? Yeah. Where it was largely ground balls. 2-2, and he misses up.
Well, last year again, that was a career year for him. You essentially can split the difference. He was at 52% last year. Okay. That's why seeing the number in the 60s is really kind of jumping off the page so far, coming out of the pen.
His payoff to Turner, and that misses low. We talk about good plate appearances for Rangers hitters. And when they work walks, make a guy labor a little bit. Justin Turner just did that to Martin. It was a 10-pitch walk by Turner. And that's the kind of hitter he is. He can be a handful sometimes. So he is on for Alex Verdugo. 1 for 2 so far today. And a bouncer, first base. Lowe has it, touches the bag 1, throws on to second. The tag, they got him, double play.
And Justin Turner did not realize that he had to slide on that one. Otherwise, there's probably a better chance that he would be saved. This is a great throw from Nathaniel Lowe. You're not in a position where you can create an angle to make sure this throw gets there. First, you're going to see him field this ball and step on the bag, but as a right-handed thrower, he knows he doesn't have a lot of time, so he spins and he throws, and a couple of former teammates over here at second, and Justin Turner, yeah, if he slides, he's probably safe. And Corey Seager with a smile tags him out.
Well, you don't see a ton of 3 unassisted to 6 double plays. They happen. Well, we've seen 2 today. 1 for each side as Adam Duvall now steps in.
And a 3-6-1. We saw today. Yeah. These double plays, not always fun for the pitcher when he's got to cover. But Brian Bayo did that in the first inning when Nathaniel Lowe was hitting.
(13-4) Rangers on top. The 1-strike pitch to Duvall. Ooh, there's a strike call. 0-2.
Jonah Heim strike right there, doing that great work behind home plate. Jeff Nelson's had a pretty good afternoon so far. He seems to have been on point. That might have been the first one that was borderline, that we were able to see called a strike. Other than that, his zone has been pretty consistent and good today.
Now Martine's 0-2 pitch, and this one on the ground and through into left field. Duvall is on. That's his second hit of the game. Well, let's squeeze it down a moment here for Baylor Scott and White Health.
Doc says you're good.
Masataka Yoshida 0 for 2. He is grounded out, struck out. Perez taking a little while. And here comes his first pitch. That one was in there for a strike.
I'm talking about Yoshida, and we've seen him struggle here down the stretch. Overall, it's been a good season for him. And there's been some conversation surrounding the fatigue factor his first year here in the United States. He's had more games and more plate appearances in Japan than he has so far this year.
Well, this one gets away, a wild pitch that puts Duvall at second base.
But one of the biggest adjustments for Japanese players when they come over from the MPB, especially when you play on a coast, is the fact that you're playing in 4 different time zones. There's one time zone in Japan, and so you never deal with that. You're rarely on a plane. Trips are all really short. More often than not, you're taking the bullet train, which is pretty fun. And so you'll see the fatigue factor. And he's not a big guy either. And so I think it's catching up with Yoshida here a little bit as he finishes off his first year with the Red Sox. The first year of, I believe, a 5-year deal that he signed.
Yeah, even with that in mind, it really has been a good year for him. Well, he's going to finish probably just a bit shy of 20 home runs, currently at 15. A 285 average. That's low. 2-2.
I thought he had a real shot at the Rookie of the Year. Even when Josh Young had gotten off to a great start, the OPS had been a lot higher. And I say a lot higher, but it was higher, enough points to give it consideration for Yoshida. But it has come down. August and September in particular, the OPS has dropped.
Ground ball second base. Routine play for Simeon, and that ends the inning. Red Sox will leave another runner. Well, we head to the bottom of the 6th inning this afternoon. Final homestand of the year for the Rangers. Last game of this series with the Red Sox, and so far, so good today. 13-4.
The offense has been a lot of fun to watch here this afternoon for the Rangers. Let's take you back to that 3rd inning. Jonah Heim with a 3-run shot. First 3 runs across the board for the Rangers, and then Mitch Garver going back-to-back with his catching partner in Heim. And then we saw Josh Young with a 2-run shot. That one was in the 5th inning. And how about the Texas Rangers offense today? 13 runs across the board so far. That's just through 5.5 innings here. 13 hits. John Gregg, a great afternoon, but Martin Perez has been the savior on the pitching side. The Rangers very much in control of this one, the final game of this 3-game series against the Boston Red Sox.
John Schreiber will be the second reliever into this game now for Boston.
43rd game of the year. You can see his numbers. Good strikeouts, 49 of them so far in his 42 2/3 innings.
Well, 13-4. Rangers with a big lead, and we'll see if they add on here the rest of the way. The 13 runs allowed by Boston ties a season high. It's the 5th time, though, that they have allowed exactly 13 runs. 0-2 on Garver. The Rangers did not score in the first today, but man, did they come roaring back with 6 runs in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 3 in the 5th inning, and now Garver shoots this one out to left field, but handled out there by Yoshida. 1 away. We've got a moment now to hear from Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
Fun, games, relaxation, or excitement. We've got all your bases covered at Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
Schreiber way off the plate with ball 1. Taveras has had an excellent day at the plate. 2 for 2 with a couple of RBIs and a run scored. 2 singles and a sacrifice fly. It is a day, though, where the Rangers have had 9 guys in the lineup, all having good days. And that's a strike, 2-1. The best day, though, right now, Josh Jung, 3 for 4 with 3 runs scored. He's driven in a couple. He is a pretty important piece of the equation for the Rangers. That is outside 3-1.
Biggest surprise for me when he got hurt and was out of the lineup. It just felt like we instantly saw the difference. And I don't think there's one guy. It's such a deep lineup, but there was something about losing him and Jonah Heim where things looked incredibly different in that Ranger lineup, and perhaps for opposing pitchers and pick your spots a little bit more. When you have all of these guys in there, you really can't. There's not a soft spot in the lineup when they're going like this. But that really jumped out. Surprised me a little bit, quite honestly.
Well, I think the most baffling part of it was that in 2 prior occasions this year, we saw injured list stints for Corey Seager, the guy who will be in the MVP conversation this year in the American League. 3-2, and that's low. A walk to Taveras, and the Rangers managed those stretches without Seager quite well. It didn't look like they really lost that much, if anything at all, offensively. They just kind of kept churning, and it was the time of the year when it happened, certainly. But when Jung came out of the lineup, all of a sudden, it's like everything just kind of ground to a halt. Well, we know he's good. He's an important hitter in this lineup. But you would think that the absence of Seager would be something that would be more dramatically felt anyway.
Yeah, the fill-ins was a big part of that, right? Ezekiel Duran and the job he did when Corey was out. And that's why I felt like it kind of went unnoticed to some degree. And Jonah Heim, Mitch Garver getting that opportunity. Same kind of thing. But this IL stint for Josh Jung, when he was out, unfortunately for Duran and Smith, offensively, they just really struggled filling in for him over at third base. And that's when it really became noticeable.
So they had their slumps, if you will, their stretches of the season where they just weren't going right. And that happened to coincide exactly when they were needed most to fill in for Jung. And so it was glaring. 2-1 to Carter, and he'll take a strike. I was talking to Evan earlier today about this new job in the big leagues, what it's like, how he's handling it, and that's what the biggest surprise has been so far. He'll take low and in. He leaned back in his locker and he thought for a moment, and he looked at me and he said, I think just the intensity, the exhaustion mentally, night after night. He's like, you're in it in the minor leagues and you're grinding. 3-2. That one popped up and just out of reach.
That's not something to see every day. The pop up get that high in the air, but because Rafael Devers is essentially almost playing shortstop, nobody's getting to that one. But it's a good point, and certainly can remember it. When you first get to the big leagues, you've got to be careful how much pressure you're putting on yourself. But there is a mental component, I think, now more than ever, because of the information they're also rifling through with all that extra pressure that comes along with playing on the biggest stage against the best players you've ever played against. And he's only 21.
Oh, he hits this ball hard out to right field. Verdugo looks up. It's gone. Second career homer for Evan Carter. And he appears to be impervious to the pressure. He has just shown so well. It's 15-4 Rangers.
It's a really good at-bat. He laid off a couple of borderline pitches and then got a slider that he could handle. And it wasn't a bad one. You can see, and I take that back, that was a bad slider. It's right down the middle. And he squares it up, hooks it into right field. And we talked about the day that Josh Jung is having. Well, Evan Carter is trying to make a run at maybe player of the day. Now just a triple short of the cycle.
Yeah, he started the day with a double, had an infield hit, and now the homer. And we know he's got the speed for the triple. What a day. That's fouled off. 0-2 on Semien. 4 home runs today for the Rangers. They've now plated 15 total on Boston. The most runs the Red Sox have allowed in a game this year. And this ball's ripped past third. That's a base hit. Semien's second hit of the game. He's into second with a double. And the Rangers just keep churning.
5th time that Marcus Semien has been on base today, and this is a slider that was not meant to be on the inside corner. They're trying to get it away from Marcus, but it hangs there on the inner half of the plate, really probably even maybe off the plate a little bit. He does a great job of keeping this ball fair, hitting it hard, and as I mentioned, on base now for the 5th time this afternoon for Marcus Semien.
Boy, Dave Bush has beaten a path out to that mound in this series. They ran out of mound visits yesterday, like in the 7th inning.
Yeah, they may be out or only have 1 left because they burned a couple early with Brayan Bello.
So Seager coming to the plate now. We check in with Emily.
Well, you guys were talking about Evan Carter and how he seems totally unfazed by the situation that he's in, and he does seem to have the perfect demeanor to walk into this situation. Couple that with the fact that, you know, clubhouses have changed over the years. It's not as high pressure of a situation where you feel like you're kind of this rookie on an island. It's a very welcoming situation, at least it is in our clubhouse, to where, you know, if you can help us win, we're all about you, and clearly he can.
Well, Seager, a little bouncer right back to the mound, and easy enough play there for Schreiber.
Yeah, it's a great point by Emily and how things have changed dramatically over the years. I will tell you, my first full year in baseball was my rookie year. I actually played in 2 different places. Played in Cincinnati with the Reds. They were a first place team. And I would say that the similar kind of experience that Evan Carter is having, I felt like I had in Cincinnati, and even though that was, you know, nearly 30 years ago, but it was a winning team in first place. They're trying to make you as comfortable as possible. Got traded to Detroit. It's a last place team, some salty veterans on that club, and it was a significantly different experience. That's when you felt like you were the rookie who should not be talking at all.
Which I'm sure was easy for you to do. This one lined over third, foul. 0-2.
It was. Once Kirk Gibson yells at you, it's really easy to be quiet after that. But it was all in good fun. I mean, you know, you hear some horror stories from over the years, and he was certainly one of those grizzled veterans, retired not much longer after I got there. Felt like I kind of drove him into retirement, possibly. But it's good to see. It's good to see that that culture has changed, that players and organizations and managers, coaches all understand. I go back to Joe Madden. For me, he was one of the guys that kind of put that on the map with the Tampa Bay Rays, of changing that culture a little bit, getting young players to be comfortable right away, knowing that competitive teams that needed those players to help them win. It was no longer about the experience of you just being a rookie and kind of taking some heat from veterans. There'll still be some fun here and there, but it has changed, and I think for the better.
Well, that guy has set a really positive tone in the clubhouse all year. Bruce Bochy, first year managing here in Texas. Lowe's the only Ranger without an RBI, which is kind of crazy. There's a called third strike, and Nathaniel will go down looking, not happy with the way that one ends. But the Rangers add to the lead, and the rookie Evan Carter continues to delight. His first home run at home. It's good for 2 runs. Smith will take over at shortstop now. Seager's day is done. Opportunity to give him a little bit of time off his feet. Off day tomorrow for the Rangers, and that is it. That is their final break, as they will make a mad push to the finish line, and Martin Perez goes to work now in the 7th. We'll have the bottom third of the order for Boston. Bobby Dahlbeck, who has homered and struck out, and he's in a hole 0-2.
We'll see what the Rangers decide to do here. Obviously, this monster lead that they have right now. Martin at 56 pitches, 3 2/3 so far. Feels like maybe This might be it, but who knows?
Well, he gets a strikeout of Dahlbeck to start the 7th inning. You know, you can stream every out-of-market Major League game this year live and on demand. Well, that also holds true for all minor league games as well. Go to MLB.tv for all the details. 5 strikeouts for Perez. And McGuire fouls off strike 1.
And we're still at 0 fly balls, right?
Correct. Yeah. Everything on the ground.
It's kind of amazing. This is as good as you're going to see Martin Perez.
This one on the ground and threw into right field. Base hit for McGuire. That's a second hit the Red Sox have managed off of Martin.
They set up the double play, make it a nice efficient inning for Martin, and then perhaps he will go back out for the 8th inning.
Got a double play last inning as Luis Urias, the 9th place hitter for Boston here. The pitch to him, a bouncer slowly toward third. This is going to be a tough play, and Young doesn't have one. He went down for the bare hand, but even if he got that cleanly, not only is it a stretch to think that he would have gotten Urias, it might not have even been worth throwing.
I agree with you on this one. It just continued to die. No velocity on this whatsoever. Hit at 60 miles an hour off the bat.
Yeah, well, it exited the bat at 60 miles per hour, and then it rolled about 5 miles per hour down to third.
Uh-oh. Urias hurt himself trying to beat that out. He pretty much has taken himself out of this game.
Sure is.
He's had enough.
One would understand. So McGuire at second. Urias with the infield hit, but appears to be done. We'll see who they send out to run for him. Let's take a look.
As he hit the bag, maybe the ankle or hamstring.
No activity as Cody Bradford loosens up in the bullpen for the Rangers. And that answers a question we were ruminating on earlier today, which is what the Rangers might do in terms of pitching in that next series with Seattle starting Friday. How might they handle whether they just go ahead and use that extra day and just skip a spot in the rotation? That seems likely. Dunning probably to go on Friday, as Abreu will be the pinch runner. Wilyer Abreu, who hurt himself banging into a wall in Toronto the other day. It'll be his first appearance in this series. So now first pitch swinging, and Rafaela pulls that one foul. So I'd say with Bradford, you know, the other idea is like maybe if the Rangers stay with a full 5-man, would you then, who would it be? Would it be Bradford? Would it be Martin? Martin's pitching, Bradford warming up. It only really leaves Andrew Heaney. So I think what they're telegraphing here on some level is that they're going to go ahead and use that day to keep things in line. And for Dunning and company, Eovaldi, Montgomery.
Yep, so it'd be Dunning,
Montgomery,
Eovaldi, right, over the weekend. John Gray for the first game in Los Angeles, and then that second game, as we mentioned, that's the spot where right now there would not be a starter if they kind of played out the way that you were just saying. And that could be Cody Bradford. That's still plenty of time even if he pitches in this one.
Back up the middle. Perez to second one. Simeon on to first. Double play. And there it is again. Another ground ball. Another twin killing. And the inning is done.
Got to tell you, this may be the best that Martin Perez has felt all year long. He is executing pitch after pitch, fielding his position. And a very easy 1-4-3 double play to end the inning.
Bally Sports is presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
What an afternoon here at Globe Life Field. Rangers up 15-4. And we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Martin Perez, a little embrace there with the skipper and some of his teammates. Excellent job today by Martin. What, 4 2/3 scoreless. Well, Martin, and we've talked about some of the great days at the plate today by these Rangers hitters, and they deserve a lot of credit. And there's some real heroes there. Martin Perez might be the biggest hero when it's all said and done.
He was great this afternoon. Zach Weiss now taking over for the Boston Red Sox. I mean, I'd be curious to hear what he has to say afterwards. If he felt like today was one of the days that he's felt the best all year long. He was as good certainly as we have seen him. Did see Austin Hedges in full gear down there, so I wonder if Hedges may be coming into a game. We'll see.
Yeah, that would make some sense.
He had all the gear on, and I don't think he just would wear it in the dugout. Although he probably would wear it in the dugout for the fun of it. If anybody was going to do it, it would be him.
So Weiss, third reliever used by Boston. And his first offering, that was off the plate. A swinging strike, I should say. So new third baseman as Reyes checks in to play third. Pablo Reyes. Connor Wong goes in at second base now. And Weiss gets a strike on the outside corner. 0-2. Gets Devers out of the game. Arias had been lifted for the pinch runner.
So we saw Wong on deck. Do you think he went into Devers' spot?
Yeah, that would make sense to me that we go into Devers' spot because he was getting ready to hit. And that Reyes would have gone into the 9 hole. There's a swing and a miss, and a strikeout of Young is how we begin the 7th. How about a message now from your local Chevrolet dealers?
It's Chevy truck season, and with a Chevy Silverado, you can take on the mountains or you can move them. Command your path, conquer the trails, and take on new challenges. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
We also might have to hold the phone on what we thought might be happening with the Ranger rotation.
Back off of Weiss, and he'll recover to make the play on Garcia for an easy second out.
And that's because Jonathan Hernandez is now warming up. So even though Cody Bradford had gotten up, if they want to do something this weekend, they certainly could do that if they want to.
Yeah, no doubt. It still gives him that option, but I do think just his very presence getting up is probably at least a little wink, a little nod to the fact that they intend to have him at the or available anyway. There's now a little comedy out on the mound there.
So it must not have hurt that bad. It got him pretty good and pretty solid, but Alex Cora, the trainer, having maybe a little bit of a laugh, and that's certainly encouraging. And Adolis Garcia probably robbed of a base hit. He smoked that baseball.
All right, so Weiss is okay. Jonah Heim will not bat. Travis Jankowski will check in here and pinch hit for him. Well, the Rangers up by 11, 15-4 in this very critical game. Came in a half game back of Houston for the division lead, and the Astros continue to trail at home 1-0 to Baltimore. That game is in the 7th inning. But it's still very close, and Baltimore's had some chances, but Houston has dodged a bullet or two to keep it a 1-0 game. Jankowski takes a little bit high, ball 1.
So I say probably what we were talking about, because he is hitting for Jonah Heim. I guess we'll expect to see Austin Hedges catch the final 2 innings of this game. That's the other part of this, right? It's nice to have a game like this to give some other guys some playing time, give the other guys some rest. Corey Seager some rest now, and looks like probably, obviously, definitely Jonah Heim some rest, at least for a couple of innings, to pair it with the off day tomorrow.
Here's the 1-1. That is upstairs. Heim having a little chat with DeGrom down there on the bench. And Jacob, I ran into Jacob earlier today. He's doing well on his rehab from his Tommy John. Not throwing yet. doing band work and strength and mobility work as well, but he's gotten the full range of motion back. And the incremental work continues. There's ball 4 to Jankowski. He takes the walk. So the Rangers have a man on in the 7th inning. The Rangers were held scoreless in the 1st. But since then, it has just been an avalanche of offense. They've scored in every inning since then. 6 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs, 3, 2. Just has piled up as Garver takes a slider for strike 1. Which is homered. He's been hit by a pitch. He's walked. And that is in there for strike 2. So we do keep an eye on the out-of-town scoreboard, certainly. It's natural for us. Bruce Bochy and the guys down the dugout, they've got enough to worry about. Their focus simply on what they're doing. But there you see at the top of the out-of-town scoreboard that Baltimore and Houston game.
How about the numbers of pitchers right there? See that? How high they all were? Yeah, 268s pitching against each other in the Seattle-Oakland.
Yeah. There is strike 3 called on Garver, and the inning is done. Rangers will leave a man. 8th inning coming up. It's 15-4.
Sports is brought to you by Baylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better, and by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
Well, pretty nice day outside, perfect inside, and by perfect, I mean perfect. 15-4. Rangers enjoying a beauty this afternoon. Some changes. Jankowski stays in right field. Ezekiel Duran will get Marcus Semien out of the game here and play second base. And as we guessed, Austin Hedges takes over behind the plate. So it's a brand new battery. Hedges will be catching Jonathan Hernandez in the 8th inning.
And for Hernandez now, 3rd game here in the month of September. 4 innings pitched here in this month. He had that rough one against the Cleveland Guardians in which he gave up 3 in his 3 innings worth of work. But a guy that the Rangers certainly would love to have back compared to where he was a year ago. It's been a rough year for Jonathan, but the arm still looks the same live. You see 99 miles an hour there for Jonathan, but the walk rate has been a problem for him in trying to find some of that consistency from a year ago.
Connor Wong hitting here for Devers, and he holds up on that check swing. 1-1. So as we had guessed last inning, Wong, when he went into play second, replaced Devers in the lineup. 1 strike pitch, and that one on the corner. Good fastball there at 98. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And there's a swing and a miss. So Wong dispatched quickly in the 8th inning.
That's good to see from Jonathan. A couple of really nice fastballs, and then he comes back with the slider just out of the strike zone that Wong can't resist.
One out. Rob Refsnyder will be announced here as the pinch hitter for Justin Turner. So Alex Cora doing much the same in terms of taking some of his regulars out of the game. Red Sox, they're not playing for much at this point. They are simply in the role of potential spoiler, whether that's in the wild card race or in their own division. They have games left against the top 2 teams in the American League West. Or pardon me, American League East. So they can have a say in who wins the East division. And there's a fastball to Refsnyder off the plate.
This is the rest of the Blue Jays schedule.
No.
Yankees and Rays.
Oh, really?
That's it. Home and home.
Wow.
It's a weird finish to a season.
It is. 2 balls and no strikes here on Refsnyder. We've mentioned the Houston score as they host Baltimore today. Seattle is on the road in Oakland, and they have a 2-0 lead. That game is in the 3rd inning. They got started a little later than we did. And Seattle came into play today with the exact same record as the Rangers. There's a strike, 3-1. So we have a scenario where the top 3 teams in the division could just flip today. And this one on the ground right side, that's through. Base hit for Refsnyder. So he is at first base, and that gives us an opportunity here to hear from Academy Sports and Outdoors. On the bottom of your screen, you see the current standings in the American League West. As Hernandez runs that one way in. A little tight there on Verdugo. A man on, one out. Well, so Houston, they open the day in first place, but if they end up losing that game to Baltimore and the Rangers hold on and Seattle wins, Houston could go from first to third. I mean, that is how nuts it is right now in the AL West. It certainly is entertaining. Bruce Bochy, it's been a while since we've seen him this relaxed and with that kind of a smile on his face in the dugout.
He certainly deserves it. And a nice way to go into the off day as well and get ready for that final push. The 10-day grind, the 3 games here against the Mariners, and then hit the road. The Angels and the Mariners to finish it out. It's going to be something.
It gives fans one more chance this weekend to give this team a salute. The 1-2. And that's fouled away. Still limited seating available Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and a big series against Seattle. So let's go back again to that scenario. Houston loses. Texas and Seattle both hold on and win their games. That means this weekend series will begin with the 2 teams tied for first in the division.
Is Seattle off tomorrow?
Oh, I assume they are, but you're right. That's a point worth examining. There's a strikeout of Verdugo, 2 away. They have the same record as the Rangers. I assumed that they were on a similar schedule that way.
Yeah, no, you're right. They are off tomorrow. And the Astros are off tomorrow as well.
And the Astros, who have played 1 game more than both the Rangers and the Mariners. That one is high to Adam Duvall. Which means that while the Astros are off tomorrow, it will not be their final off day. They will get 1 more, which can be helpful. One 0 pitch. And that is in there. 1-1 to Duvall. Now, in the event that all 3 teams would be tied at the end of the regular season, then you would take their records against the group. And that's how you would decide the tiebreaker. So if you have a 3-way tie, then you take the Rangers record against both Houston and Seattle in aggregate, Seattle's record against Houston and the Rangers, and on we go. And that would decide who wins the division. If 2 teams are tied, then it's just their head-to-head. There's a swing and a miss. Duvall strikes out, and Jonathan Hernandez with a 3-strikeout 8th inning. Good effort by him. Bottom of the 8th coming.
Head to the bottom of the 8th inning, and finally an easy one for Bruce Bochy. He acknowledges that the last couple of months have absolutely been a roller coaster, and he was posed the question earlier this week about, do you miss those days on the couch when this wasn't so emotionally stressful, those 3 years in retirement? And he said, no, you miss the roller coaster. Like, this is what you dream of, to be in a playoff chase in late September. And that's where we are. And I keep coming back to it, but you would have told me on April 1st that we would, be in this position at this point in the season. I would have taken it all day long. He said, sometimes it's stressful, but I'm trying to enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I think part of that is because this team spoiled us and how they played in those first 4.5 months, and got to the point where we almost felt like it was a foregone conclusion that they were going to win the division. But it is a long season. You got to play it out, and so the Rangers find themselves right now in a huge fight to be able to get it done.
Well, last of the 8th inning. Bernardino is the new pitcher for Boston. And Taveras will take strike one. Leote's had a wonderful day at the plate. Most Rangers have. And that stands him upright. 1-1. Taveras has been on 3 times. The one time he did not reach, he drove in a run with a sac fly. 2 hits, a walk, a couple of runs scored. 1-2 the count. Evan Carter waits on deck. Nope. I take that back.
Oh, what? Oh.
Well, I'm sorry, Robbie. I was actually excited to see you get a chance.
I told you I wore my Robbie Grossman jersey today, too, but I wanted to see Evan Carter take a shot at the cycle.
I really like Robbie, and I think he's been a great player and a
Agreed.
good veteran influence. There's a bouncer third base. And a sidearm sling to first in time to get Leote.
What if Robbie Grossman hits a triple?
I'm honestly, that really would be pretty wild, wouldn't it? I have to get somebody in here to hold you from jumping out of the booth if that's the case.
Oh, man. Well, the bid to be the youngest Ranger to ever hit for the cycle will have to be put on hold for now. Oda B. McDowell did it at 22 years old in 1985. The oldest to do it, Adrian Beltre.
Oh, how old?
36. He did it in 2015.
So the rookie's going to have to wait. Robbie Grossman instead will get a chance. So, by the way, Carter then finishes the day 3 for 4. Single, double, homer, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs. And Bernardino is off the plate to Grossman here. Well, you were saying it earlier. The opportunity to get some guys at bats and make sure that they stay sharp. Grossman's been really important lately. And a fly ball out to center field results in an out. 2 away. It's still good to get him up there. Now here is Ezekiel Duran. He came in defensively, now gets his first at bat of the game. 15 runs, 15 hits for the Rangers. High chopper shortstop. Good pick at short by Rafaela, but he can't get it to first in time. Duran has an infield hit. So the 16th hit of the game for the Rangers.
What is that? 6 plate appearances out of the leadoff spot for the Rangers, and all 6 times the leadoff man, or at least the guy hitting in that leadoff spot, has reached. And Ezekiel Duran does it with an infield single. Good hustle for him. This would have been a great play. That was a really nice scoop on that short hop, but not enough time to get Duran.
Josh Smith will get his first chance at the plate. Bernardino is a little bit wide with ball 1. Don't bother holding Duran. In an 11-run game, 2-0 the count, and he doesn't bother moving. He'll stay at first. There's a strike. 2-1. That came in, and that got Smith on the wrist. He gets hit a lot, and
So,
that one hurt.
There is nobody on the bench right now, so hopefully he can stay in the game. The Rangers have emptied out their bench. But you can see Josh Smith is in some significant pain. Let's take a look at this. Pitch running in. Yep, catches him right on the wrist.
9th time this year he's been hit by a pitch, but he appears to be okay.
I guarantee you this, there's some pitchers either in the bullpen or on the bench that are raising their hand to volunteer to play an inning of defense if he needed to come out of the game. Let's see. No. I mean, I would love to watch Aroldis Chapman play the outfield.
Yeah,
or shortstop for that matter.
Well, here's Lowe. I wasn't sure Nathaniel was going to get another chance to drive in a run. He's the only starter for the Rangers today who is yet to drive in a run. They've all had hits. They all scored runs. 8 of them have driven in a run. And the count 0-2 on Lowe. 1 for 5 today. Singled and scored in the 4th inning. There's Duran at second. Smith over at first. And this one is up the middle. Backhand stop by Wong, and he'll go to the bag to force out Smith and end the inning. Rangers leave a couple. 9th inning coming up with the Rangers leading by 11. The numbers you're concerned with. Rangers had the lead and now 3 outs away from locking this one down. A series win as well. We're talking about tiebreakers for the American League West, and I mentioned if it's a 3-way tie at the end of the regular season, it's the best combined record against the other 2 teams. Now the numbers you see there for Seattle, the Rangers, and the Astros kind of meaningless because they're not done. Rangers and Mariners with 7 games head-to-head yet. Seattle and Houston still have a 3-game series to play, but at the current moment, the winning record for Seattle gives them the ultimate tiebreaker in that scenario. But if it's just for 2 teams tied, you look at the head-to-heads. Well, the Rangers have it over Seattle currently. Seattle has it over the Astros for the year, and that's done. And Houston beat the Rangers head-to-head. So those are all over the map. Rangers with 7 big games against Seattle, though, remaining, and would have a huge effect in all of this. And of course, we're hoping that it won't be a 3-way tie or even a 2-way tie at the end. Rangers just take care of business.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yes, the middle part was 3-way tie. But we've got better than a week now to sort it all out. Will Smith on here in the 9th inning. And Yoshida takes off the plate, 1-1.
Yeah, I think an opportunity here for Will Smith in a low pressure situation to try to get back on track. I think intentional here for Bruce Bochy to give him this spot. There was other guys he could have gone to just to try to finish up this game, but for me this one probably serves some purpose for Will Smith.
This one lined out into right field. A base hit to start the 9th inning for Boston. So Smith, it has been a tough stretch here lately for him. Yoshida will remain pretty stationary over at first base. Rangers don't hold him. Dahlbeck the batter, and he lines this one into left field. Back-to-back singles for Boston. Brings up Reese McGuire. So that was a curveball that Dahlbeck just hit. It was 3 straight sliders to Yoshida. And the pitch to McGuire. Fastball is just a little bit off the plate. At one point, Boston led this game 4-0. It was early, but it was not a good feeling for the Rangers in such a critical game as is today's.
Yeah, it was deflating a little bit to see the Boston Red Sox get off to that really good start, especially with Brayan Bello on the mound, and as good as he had been coming into this game, and the starting pitcher that they have right now in Boston, and this Ranger offense just exploded on him. They did a great job and continued to score runs against the bullpen, and 15 unanswered, you'll take that all day long. So it was good to see. But I'm with you. I was like, oh
yeah,
to get down 4-0 with Bello on the mound, that was a concern.
So Smith Ahead of McGuire here, a ball and 2 strikes. The pitch to him, and it's in the dirt. Hedges keeps it in front of him. McGuire 1 for 3 today. Boston had 10 hits in the game, or has 10 hits in the game. The 2-2. There's a swing and a miss. Well, struck him out with a slider. And there's the first out of the inning.
Good slider here from Will Smith. Left on left. Good break on it. Good location. Get that first out here in the 9th inning.
The 10th strikeout today for Rangers pitching. And so now Reyes gets his first plate appearance of the day, and he takes strike 1.
And even though Will Smith is not much of a ground ball pitcher, good opportunity here with an aggressive hitter who's not afraid to expand the zone. Take advantage of that to try to get some weak contact.
Reyes came in to play third base in the 7th inning, and he'll take a breaking ball a little bit wide. Oakland has scored in that game with Seattle. It's now 4-1 Mariners in the 5th inning, but Houston has also scored in their game. It's now tied up. Astros and Orioles knotted up at 1 apiece. Fly ball to center, and Reyes is the second out of the inning. Tagging at second base Yoshida, he moves up to third. I mentioned tomorrow is off, and then the real madness will begin Friday night, 7 o'clock. Rangers, Mariners, and we'll have it all for you right here on Bally Sports Southwest. Oh, not going to want to miss it. Smith to the plate, and that's a little bit wide. Ball 1. Bryce Miller is the announced probable for Seattle on Friday. Rangers, Dane Dunning seems the likely answer. As Bruce Bochy said earlier today, Dane Dunning penciled in. It's pencil, though, I wanted to point out. So they wanted to leave options open in case this game went one way or another. But it seems pretty likely that Dane would have the start on Friday against Bryce Miller. The 2-0. And that's line to second, just enough to get into center field base hit. Yoshida scores. Dahlbeck goes to third. And it's 15-5.
Take a look at the pitch here from Will Smith. You can see that fastball there, 91 miles an hour up and in, and just out of the reach as Duran gave it his best effort. Kind of interesting, almost like synchronized jumping there between Smith and Duran. That was a great view of it.
So Wong, the hitter, and he hits this one on the ground, shortstop. Josh Smith with a backhand, his throw to first in time. This one is over. Happy baseball. Rangers 15-5 over the Red Sox to win the series. And at the moment they are in a virtual tie with the Houston Astros for the top spot in the division.
Yeah, this was a big one. Contributions all the way around. Josh Young had a really big day with his 3 hits. Evan Carter, a triple short of the cycle. He was excellent. That big second inning in which the Rangers put up 6 runs was the difference. And then the decision to get to Martin Perez early in this game, and he absolutely dominated coming out of the bullpen, picking up the win. He was terrific today.
And many a hero in this one for the Rangers. A great finish to this series. Seattle looms on Friday. We'll come back and wrap this up in a minute.